Hello and welcome to the Parent Pod. Today we are going to be talking to you about loneliness as a mum. Now, loneliness as a mum I think is something that affects probably most mums at some time or another. I know personally that it's something that I have really struggled with. When I had my first baby, I moved about 6 months after he was born to a totally new part of the country, about 4 hours away from where I was originally from, where I didn't know anybody, so that was quite difficult, and obviously it meant that I didn't have any friends where I lived. I found that a lot of people recommended various baby and toddler groups to me, and I know that they can be very helpful for a lot of people. So if it's something that you haven't tried before, then by all means give it a try. I know a lot of people who absolutely swear by them and think they're a great way to kind of get out there and meet other people, mingle, and just get out of the house and see new faces basically. But personally I didn't have a great experience with mums groups. I did try to go to a few kind of play groups and things like that, and I always came away feeling worse because in all of the ones that I went to, I found them to be very cliquey, and as a new face in the group and somebody who isn't particularly confident going up and introducing myself to people, I kind of just felt myself standing on the sidelines and just playing with my little boy. And I did try to like make eye contact with a few mums and smile, and in the hope that maybe they might come over and start talking to me, but nobody did. I just always came away feeling worse because I'd have spent an hour sitting watching everybody else kind of in their little groups of mum friends and having fun and having a gossip and whatever, and I would just kind of be sat on the sidelines, and it just made me feel a lot kind of more lonely. I also tried joining up to a site like Mumsnet, I think was the one that I used, where they do local meet a mum events. I went along to a couple of them and I did make a couple of friends there initially, and I had a few kind of play dates with some people, and one or two of them I still do kind of keep in touch with. I wouldn't say that they became great friends or anything, but they're acquaintances still. So I'd say that Mumsnet's Meet a Mum is worthwhile signing up to and having a look at. The main thing that I found for me that really helped with loneliness as a mum was actually starting my blog. I started it because I was kind of feeling lonely during my pregnancy and I wanted to just reach out to other mums really, and I found that by sharing my experiences I got a lot of feedback from other mums who were feeling similar, and the same with YouTube really. And there is a big community behind blogging and YouTube of other mums, like-minded people, and I found that was the best thing that I did, and I would really recommend that to anybody who is feeling a bit lonely. If blogging and YouTube are not for you, then another thing I would recommend is looking into some online baby forums. When I was pregnant with my first child, I joined a forum called Baby and Bump, and on that forum it was kind of just different threads that people were starting with questions about pregnancy, chatting about their experiences and things like that. But there were also threads started for individual birth month groups. So I joined the March to April 2013 forum thread, which was for people from all over the world who were expecting their babies at that time. And there were about 10 of us in that thread, and all of us chatted every day for the whole duration of our pregnancies, which was really nice. It was nice to have kind of support and to be able to chat with other women who were at the exact same stage of pregnancy as you. It was really, really lovely. A few of the people in that thread kind of did trail off, but even now when we all had our babies, we added each other on Facebook and we started a group on there for us all to talk in, because obviously we didn't want to keep going on to Baby and Bump when we weren't expecting anymore. So now we have the group on Facebook, and it's still to this day, even though those babies are over 3 now, there are 9 of us, I think it is, in that group, and not everybody talks every day, but a lot of us do, and it's just lovely that we've all kept in touch for that long. We're all kind of keeping up with how each other's children are doing, and yeah, it's just really nice. So I would definitely recommend looking into some online forums, because although online friendships are never the same as real life physical friendships, like obviously you can't go out and do things as much, which can still be lonely. I think that online friendships are quite underrated in just how much of a support they can offer. If you're feeling lonely, if you're feeling down, if there's something bothering you and you want a friend to talk to, those people are still there. You can still talk to them. They are still friends, even though you can't physically touch them. And that's not something to overlook. If you're a lonely person, if you're feeling kind of, you know, down or lonely, reach out online. If you can't bring yourself to do it in person, because it definitely is the next best thing, and in some ways I find it can be even better.
Hi guys, my name's Emma. I am a stay-at-home mum. I have 2 children, Alice is 4 and Tommy is 2. I have been a stay-at-home mum since about a month before I gave birth to Alice, my first child. So I've been a stay-at-home mum for probably the last 5 years now. I know that it can be incredibly lonely to be a stay-at-home mum. It's one of the worst things about it. You don't get any adult contact other than your husband or partner who comes home, or your mum if you see your mum, or play groups, but it's not the same as going to work every day and getting that proper adult interaction. Being lonely as a mum is like, it's like the worst experience ever. It makes you feel crap, like it's just horrible. I think there's a certain amount of guilt that I get when I feel lonely as well, because I feel like I should always feel incredibly privileged that I can stay home with my kids all the time. Like, I am very lucky that we can afford to have me staying at home, and also I have my blog and stuff, so I earn a bit of money, so I can stay at home. And when I feel lonely and upset that I'm not going out to work and meeting people and stuff, and I feel like really isolated, I actually end up feeling really guilty for feeling that way, because I feel like I shouldn't. I feel like I should only feel lucky and privileged. The things that help me when I'm feeling particularly low is going online. I think being online is like amazing. I started my blog, I started blogging and interacting with other bloggers. I started my YouTube channel as a way of reaching out to other mums and saying, hi, I'm here, you know, are you there too? Are you alone at home as well? Maybe we could talk, maybe we can interact, maybe we can be each other's support. So being online has really helped with the loneliness that I feel, because I feel like when I post a video up, or I post a blog post up, or an Instagram, and I'm getting likes from other mums and comments, I feel immediately less alone, even if it is only for those few moments where I'm getting the comments. But it will stick with me for most of the day, and I find myself picking up my camera and vlogging my days and things, which has really helped with the feeling of loneliness, because I feel like I'm talking to someone. I feel like I'm reaching out to other people even when I am just alone with the kids. Playgroups and things for me did not work. I felt so out of place in a playgroup. I walked in, I stayed for about 20 minutes and I left. I just felt it was so cliquey. I don't know if it's maybe because I live in London, and obviously London's quite overpopulated and it is quite cliquey around here, so maybe that's it, but I just felt incredibly lonely. I felt more lonely going to a playgroup than I did being at home. My partner, my husband, works full-time as well, so he often goes out for drinks after work, or he goes to parties, or he goes to events and things. That can be really hard as well. When you've had a long day with the kids and you've been completely on your own, and you have been feeling isolated and a bit lonely, and then your husband texts to say, oh, I'm going out for drinks tonight, you kind of want to kill him. Do you know what I mean? Like, you kind of want to just grab the phone and throw it across the room and go, come home! You don't understand, I've been at home all day on my own. But you can't do that, because it's not fair. Like, he has a job, and I know that he has to go to these social events and stuff. He's got a very socially kind of job in London in media, so that is part of the package. But it's really hard when you've been at home with them all day long and they've been driving you mad, and you put them to bed and you just want to talk to someone, you just want to rant to someone, and when your husband's not there to do it, or there's no one there, it's really hard, because you kind of just pent it all up inside, and it just makes you feel worse. Thanks for watching, bye!
I am probably quite a lonely mum. We moved to this area in November, and before we moved I had a really good mummy friend, that I met at swimming, and I met her when Lily was 6 months old, so before that I didn't really have any mummy friends. And we spent loads of time together. Our kids loved each other and it was really nice, and since we moved up here I've not really had that. Loneliness as a mum is quite difficult, and I think if you stay at home as a mum, it's something that's really common and something that a lot of mums, I mean, I know that I'm lonely but I don't think about it and I try not to. And it's only really been recently when people have said, oh, you must be really lonely staying at home. And my partner said to me, oh, my friend, she stayed at home with her son and she said that it was really lonely, and that was just for a week, so how much do you feel? That it suddenly dawned on me that yeah, I am pretty lonely. So I'm starting a lot of groups with Lily in September because I know that that is something that we need to do. So we're going to be going to a Move with Pepper group, and we're going to be going back to our play group, and Lily is going to be going to nursery for a day, which is something I need to sort out. So I'm hoping that we're going to meet people there and become part of the community around here. So that would be my tips really, is to just put yourself out there, which is so much easier said than done, but that is how I met my best friend when we lived down south. So go to playgroup, go to these places, go to the park, anywhere like that, and just start talking to other mums. And if they snub you or if they're weird with you, don't talk to them again. But the chances are that they're going to be lonely too, or there's got to be something you can talk about. Babies are a brilliant conversation starter, or children are a brilliant conversation starter, because they all do the same stuff. They all, you know, you've all got little stories you can tell about your children. There is some common ground for you to meet on to discuss things, and you might find that once you start talking about your children that you start talking about other things as well, and you have the same interests. But just keep an eye on it, and you know, practice some self-care by taking some time for yourself. If you have got friends that perhaps don't have children, that's okay. Take the time to, you know, see if you can get a babysitter, or see if your partner can help, and go to the cinema with them or go for drinks. I think it's all about, if you haven't got any mum friends, then going out there and making them and keeping on top of that. And if you've got a little community or a little friends group, make sure that you keep on top of it and you have some time without the children as well. Because whilst it's nice to talk at mummy groups and things like that, it's nice also to have the chance to let your hair down and be completely child free and have some girl time.
Hi, yes. Today I am talking about something that's quite close to my heart, about how to combat loneliness as a new mum. So whenever I had Louisa, I was living in Edinburgh. I live in Belfast now, and I had obviously like a lot of friends and stuff in Edinburgh, but none of them really had kids. There were two who got pregnant towards the end of my pregnancy with Louisa, so I did have, you know, them to like share the experience with in a way. You know, we could chat, and they were obviously keen to spend time with Louisa, but you know, everybody has their own lives going on and they had their own pregnancies and stuff, so you know, I didn't spend a massive amount of time with them, but it was good to have those people who I could relate to in a way. But because they were sort of new to the experience, it was kind of, whenever we would talk about things to do with babies and pregnancy, it was kind of, I was not the expert, but I was the one who'd been there. So I didn't really have anybody who was like senior to me, if you know what I mean, in the whole parenting thing. And I didn't have anybody who had little friends around Louisa's age. So basically, if I wanted to have, you know, mummy friends, I had to go out and find them. And I knew that we were going to be leaving Edinburgh, so I guess I didn't really make a massive effort to go to baby clubs and do all that kind of stuff, which I really regret now, because even though we were leaving, you know, I was there for the first sort of 6 months of Louisa's life, and I do feel like by not
really 100% engaging with all the different clubs and mums and toddlers groups, you know, that I did miss out in those early days. Like, I missed out on having like real people in my day-to-day life, you know, who I could relate to. But anyway, so whenever we moved back to Belfast, I was really conscious that I didn't want to just fall into the same trap of like not really engaging and not getting out there and meeting people. So I basically forced myself. What I did was I went on the internet and I looked for a list of all of the mum and baby groups in the area, and I put them into my diary with good intentions of going to all of them and trying them out, giving it a shot, you know. And you know, that worked really well for a while. I went to one every day for a few weeks, and eventually, you know, I found one or two that there was people there I connected with, people in a similar stage or similar interests to me, and it was brilliant. Like, I didn't make any like really close friends, but it was great to just, you know, be around people, and it was so good for Louisa. Like, she absolutely loves being around other children, you know, she gets so excited and just thinks it's fab. So it kind of gave me a bit of mummy guilt, you know, that she had missed out on that before, but you know, you can never win with this kind of stuff. So you know, it's coming up to the end of the summer now, and to be honest, like, the summer has not been great. All of the baby clubs are cancelled, and it was just like, it's been like kind of a hard, you know, couple of weeks, couple of months really. So what I did to try and make the summer a bit more bearable was I signed Louisa up to swimming lessons. So we've been going to those for a few weeks now, and that's great because it's lovely to just, you know, chat to other people and like other people who, you know, get it. And thankfully the summer is almost over, so I am going to go back on the internet today and find out when all the classes start up again, and clubs and mums and tots and stuff, because, you know, I don't know about you, but I have to sort of like force myself to get into this stuff because I do find it like a bit awkward and a bit forced, as I said. But I know that having somebody else to talk to and to be in a room with, you know, who understands you and their kids can play with Louisa, like, it does make a difference. Thank you. I really hope this helps. And if you follow me on social media, please give me a kick up the bum and make sure that I am following my own advice and getting back out to these clubs again now that the summer is over, because I don't want to be a little hermit, you know, and I don't want Louisa to be either. Thank you. Bye.
So I hope that these tips have been helpful for you, no matter which one you try, or if you don't feel comfortable with any of them, whatever the situation is. I hope that you find the answer for you to your loneliness as a mum, because everyone is individual, and what works for some people will be different to what works for others, and we all just have to find our own way. But the main thing to remember is that it is very normal to feel loneliness as a mum. It affects a lot of people, probably a lot more than any of us even realise, and I'm told that it will pass, so fingers crossed for that. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the Parent Pod channel. Today I'm going to be talking about a few different things just to support your child's learning in reception mainly, but these are things you can start doing before, start doing during, and, you know, even start doing after. I have been teaching since 2008, and last year was my first year teaching in reception.